Hi, everybody, and welcome to our January ambassador briefing. Excited to have you all here to begin the year. And we are going to start with an introduction from Eric Vicks, the newest member of our government affairs team here at AKF. And then we will move on to speaking about the State Ambassador Leaders Program, and then talk about our Kenya Action Summit, which is coming up on May 4th. So, Eric, I will let you take the floor.
Hello, everyone. Just glad to be here. As been said, just the newest member of the team. I've been spending the last 15 or so years doing community engagement and trying to make changes in different healthcare communities around DC and around the country. Right now, I'm just here hoping to learn something from you and hopefully being able to touch base with you in a little bit so that we can make some of those changes on the ground that will be beneficial for everybody in the states that you live in. I will just turn it back to Ben.
Sure, thanks, Eric. And then now I will get to the sharing of the screen part.
Hey, Ben, it's Paul Gordon. I
Hey,
think
Paul.
on your closed captioning, it seems like in our settings, or at least in mine by default, it's enabled, but I think you need to be able to broadcast in that. I'm not sure that Zoom does the talk to text for you.
Oh,
I think that's what the problem is. I couldn't guarantee it. That's my problem.
I'm still trying to get there. Let me do. So here we are for the formal portion of the program. First, we'll start about the State Ambassador Leaders Program. As you've learned before, I like maps. So this is the best known brand from each state. Geico is Maryland's, which is okay, I guess. DC has C-SPAN. I don't know, this map seems pretty old because there's no way AOL is still the most popular from Virginia, because I feel like most people aren't using AOL anymore. But just wanted to give you guys a different view of a map. And we will be looking to get ambassadors involved, throughout the year from all 50 states. So hopefully a more lighthearted map will convince you to get more involved with us. And here we'll just talk about the State Ambassador Leaders Program. What it is it's a new program we have that is really trying to just formalize the training of ambassadors, while also letting everyone know just all the different opportunities we have. Because we've seen in the past where some people like writing letters to the editor, some people like doing the action alerts, and they're not always necessarily aware of all the opportunities to do the different forms of advocacy with AKF. So like it says here, we hope it gives everyone a little bit more clarity on what we have. And for the program for 2022, we've grandfathered in a bunch of folks. But for 2023, for the rest of this year, for folks who have not been grandfathered in, and for next year, people just have to do different advocacy activities to remain current. And the reason why everyone has to apply, and you do it at the link seen there at kidneyfund.org/state leaders, is because part of the application is it gives us, it requests your story and address and stuff like that. And it's very important because a lot of times things change in your lives that we don't know. And your updated story could open you up to more just advocacy opportunities. It could be that you got your transplant, or you changed your modality, or found out you had another illness. Some folks have completely moved to different states that we find out when we get mail bounced back to us. And then, knowing about people living in different states helps us when we're trying to do the in-district meetings and things like that. Okay, so opportunities for engagement for folks who are involved with the State Ambassador Leaders. We're going to start by, as you can see, the required things here is join the advocacy network. That's an easy one. If you have social media, to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Join the AKF Ambassadors Facebook group. And for anyone here who's not in that group, it is just called AKF Ambassadors. You just have to ask to join, and then I will do that for you. And so, Bobby, the number 4 bullet here is exactly what you were talking about. We require everyone in the state ambassadors program to contact their state and federal elected officials and ask to get on their mailing lists to find out when they have events. So it could be health town halls, health fairs. Could just be they're going to be in a parade or something. Over the years, when people have let us know that they're, a state delegate or their senator or a congresswoman is going to be out in the district, we help prepare you by giving you info you can talk to them about, letting you know how they voted on things. We can even, if we know enough in advance, we can mail you different leave behinds and stuff that you can give to the elected officials when you meet with them. And so the only way we can find out is if all of you ask, because there's 538 members, federal elected officials, and I think there's about 1,500 state elected officials. So we need all of your assistance in getting a hold of them. So also we require, if you have social media, to follow your elected officials on social media. You don't have to interact with them, but that is so increases the chances of you finding out different events and things that they're doing. We also ask that you share just a minimum of 5 AKF social media posts throughout the year. And that is so you can just help us increase the reach of our different programs and information that we send out. And also we have do the applicable action alerts. Really, you just have to go on our website once, and it's a really easy system to do the action alerts if you all haven't done them yet. And also it's important this year because of redistricting. Folks, every single district in the country is having its lines redrawn. So people might end up with new members of Congress that they weren't even aware of. So when that happens, we'll definitely be reaching out and letting people know to check on the website and see if their members have changed. So other opportunities are you can call your elected officials on behalf of our legislative efforts. And we say only when applicable and with proper training, because we just want to make sure you're prepared and you know the issues inside and out. We don't want to spring you on anyone and making calls you don't necessarily feel comfortable with. Send emails to them as well. Like I said, we can do letters to the editor or op-eds. We can do an in-district conference call with elected officials or their staff. I'm always begging folks to do those. We did 101 last year. We won't be able to get near that number this year, but if you haven't done an in-district meeting with me yet, I will certainly try to make that happen. Kat can be an example for this one. Submit testimony for state legislation. Now that it's the beginning of the year when all the state houses are in session, it's especially important to try and get as many ambassadors involved in the state level work that we do. And the last thing, but certainly not the final list of opportunities, is attend a Kidney Action Summit. And I will talk about that a little bit later on. So currently, everyone, as of yesterday at 11 a.m., this is the list of folks I have signed up that have applied for the State Ambassador Leaders Program. I'll leave it up here just for a little bit so you all can see. The next slide will have the link to apply. So if you all haven't applied yet, I request that you do, even if for no other reason, then you give us your up-to-date story, like I said, because it's a very important thing for us to have. And if anyone's not sure, I'm going to the next slide now. You can just check with me and I'll let you know. So to apply for the State Ambassador Leaders Program, just kidneyfund.org/state leaders. So again, kidneyfund.org/state leaders. So I'll take this as an opportunity to see if anybody has any questions or anything about the State Ambassador Leaders Program so far. If you do, you might be muted. So you can just go ahead and unmute yourself.
Ben, I'm sure you have, but would you mind?
Paul, you muted yourself back. You were unmuted and then muted again.
Close but no cigar, right? I was just wondering, I'm sure that you probably already have, but would it be possible for you to post that on the either the Facebook site?
Yeah,
That-
I posted in the Facebook page before, but I'm going to continue posting
I figured you did.
the link for state ambassador leaders. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to take care of that. Thank you. My hope is to get involved with Matthew Cartwright's office close by. Seems like a pretty amenable guy. Just been a little undercover here with all this COVID mess. Thank you.
Sure. Anyone else have any questions? I heard somebody else's mic turn on. Going once, going twice. Okay, so then I will now move on to the Kidney Action Summit. Unfortunately, this is the most recent picture we have because this will now be our third virtual Kidney Action Summit. So we haven't been able to gather on Capitol Hill with each other for several years now, maybe in 2023. But for now, 2022 is going to be virtual. Like I said, it's going to be all virtual. It's going to be on May 4th. So all ambassadors who are included will have meetings with their representative and senators. And if there are several ambassadors, either taken from the same congressional district or the same state, you will all be in the same Senate meetings. But just to let everyone know, the offices, they always ask for the people in the meetings with them to only be constituents, because that way it gives the constituents as much time as they can have to speak. So hypothetically, I know, Paul, you said you're in Cartwright's district. If we had, if we had Bobby and Candy in your meeting as well, and they were speaking, even though they're great ambassadors, usually the members just want to hear from the constituents themselves. But for the Senate meetings, folks will be with others if there's other folks from your state. And there will be a training day to prepare everyone. We don't want folks to think we're going to throw you to the wolves, and as soon as you're accepted, you're just going to do a meeting with the senator. We haven't set the date for that yet, but we're working on that. Since the Kidney Action Summit is May 4th, we will probably do it sometime in April. And doing it that much in advance also gives everyone a chance to go over all the materials and come up to us with any further questions or assistance that you all might need. So ambassadors are accepted from all over the country. And for your meetings, you will be paired with an AKF staff member. And like I said, every year, the group is a mix of new and more experienced ambassadors. So if you're on this call now and you've never done anything with us before, but you're interested, I kindly ask that you apply. And if you've been with us since day one, we're still welcoming you to apply as well. It really does benefit everybody when we have a mix of experience levels with all the ambassadors who participate in the Kidney Action Summit, because not only do we want you to have great meetings with your elected officials, we also want you to build community with each other and get to know each other and sort of have other ambassadors that you can go to with questions and stuff like that. So it really is a good mix. We will be limited to about 30 ambassadors, but there are plenty of advocacy opportunities throughout the year if unfortunately you are not accepted. Number one is those in-district meetings. Every year I use the list of folks who are not selected and invite them to do in-district meetings. So I will do so again this year. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And there's always many things throughout the year that we like to offer to everyone. And we don't want anyone to take it personally if you're not accepted. One of the big reasons we can't take everyone is we pair each ambassador with their own AKF staff member. So we're limited in that regard. And we are also limited in trying to spread out the accepted ambassadors from around the country. There are tons of ambassadors we happen to have in San Antonio. So unfortunately, we can't take everybody that we have in San Antonio, even though it would be great. But we do reach out to folks throughout the year, like I said, especially when it comes to state level advocacy work. When it comes to doing testimonies and things like that, the more the merrier when it comes to that. I have the link here. I will put it in the chat at the end, kidneyfund.org/advocacy/action-summit. Not as easy as kidneyfund.org/state leaders, but still there. And that has been the email you all got on Wednesday that has the link in there to apply. And we will also be sharing on social media. Also, very important to note, we have a hard stop for the applications on February 14th. And that's because we're getting a new website. So we need to pause things that go through the website before the new website starts. So I implore everyone, if you're considering to apply, please do so early. And I love pointing out the Kidney Action Summit will be on May 4th, which is International Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. So for those who are accepted, we will be providing some sort of Star Wars themed little memento for a small token of appreciation for everyone being involved. Here's the link. I will share that again with everyone. And like I said, hard application deadline of February 14th. In the past, we've been pretty flexible with the deadline, but just because of the website change, I want to make sure everyone knows February 14th. So nothing says love and spending Valentine's Day with the ones you love, like not doing something with them and filling out an application for Kidney Action Summit. So if that's how you want to spend your Valentine's Day, I will let you handle the reaction you get from your spouse, significant other, or family. So behooves you to maybe even do it on February 13th. So that is it for the slideshow portion. I'd like to see if anyone has any questions about anything that we've gone over so far, especially with the Kidney Action Summit. Open the floor up to anybody who has a question.
Hi, my name is Jamie. I'm in New York.
Hi, Jamie.
It's a pleasure to be here. So hello, everyone, and thank you for your time. I think your presentation is great and very informative. However, what I'm wondering is, in crafting our patient story to help with legislation in our particular states, like I'm in New York, is that something that you work closely with us? Because, you know, as a patient, we all have our stories, right? But I'm asking, do you help us craft it in a way that is acceptable to the legislature, right? To get these things passed through?
Yeah, so it's a very good question. So when I say we want your story in the application for state ambassadors leaders, what I mean by that is we want to know your experience with kidney disease. If you're on dialysis, the modalities of dialysis that you've done, if you have any rare diseases, if you've had a transplant, things like that. So that is just the story that we have internally. We don't share that with any elected officials or anything. It's just we need that info so that if there is an opportunity in New York, let's say there's a Living Donor Protection Act bill coming up, and they're looking for folks who have donated a kidney and then had issues with their insurance companies after. We'll know that from the elected officials or from the legislation, then we will work backwards and then look in sort of the story database and see who from New York has said they had issues with their insurance after donating and things like that. So it's best to just give us as much info as possible in the story section. But then when it comes time, Jamie, like if you were to submit testimony, somebody who experienced those insurance issues, truth be told, I write 99% of the ambassador testimonies, and then I share them with you, and then you make the any changes or corrections that you see, because I write them so that we can make sure that all the points are there legislatively. And if we're talking about insurance issues, then that part is in the story. And then, you will review it to make sure that the personal stuff is correct. And then we work together to either have you submit oral testimony or to provide it to the office staff. But yeah, so the story for the spreadsheet is just your experiences with kidney disease and everything. And the stuff that we share with the elected officials, that is something that we all will work together on.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, absolutely. Anyone else have any questions?
Not so much a question. You guys can hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you, Kyle.
Okay. Hey, just a little testimony also. Last year was my first year chance to work in this capacity with AKF. So fortunate to be selected. And Ben and the government relations team did an awesome job, as well as all the other staff at AKF, to take us through sort of the preparation to crafting our stories, to practicing sessions, and getting us prepared for the actual day, as well as on the day itself, sort of holding our hands there in case there's facts or figures that we don't remember. It was very easy to have that partnership with the staff that they had in front of them. So we were able to get in front of the legislators from Illinois here. And it was a great opportunity and a great experience for me. So I just want to throw that out there. Thank you, everybody, for all you do. And then also, since the actual Kidney Action Day, all the state stuff that we do more locally that Ben and his team all work on individually and schedule other sessions in addition to these regular ambassador meetings that we have each month. We can do a bunch of stuff legislatively, locally, and also support that we get in terms of collateral materials or whatnot to do our own little outreach in our little community. So just want to toss it out there for some of the new folks that might be on the call. Definitely reach out to them if you have questions, but they do definitely do great training to get us prepared. So thanks.
Sure, thanks, Kyle. So reading a question from the chat, what's the definition of being active or guidelines around that? So we asked, I should have mentioned this earlier, I asked that for folks who do apply for the State Ambassador Leaders Program, you do self-report to me when you do the specific activities, because then I'll keep track of it. But being active, to me at a base level, that's just doing the sort of the required things that I mentioned, because unfortunately not everyone has the same opportunities to get involved. So if there's no state level legislation that pops up in Kansas, you don't have the opportunities to do the state level testimonies and things like that, while somebody maybe in Pennsylvania, they have a lot more opportunities for that. So everyone has an opportunity to join and sort of reach the level of state ambassador leaders. We leave it sort of in flux as to what you have to do to finally reach that level. I'll be in touch with each person as sort of the year goes on. For some people, like I'll say Kyle, for instance, if you have done all the action alerts, all that stuff, and you've done state testimony, things like that, that's pretty much as much as you can do. So I would let you know that then you were accepted into the state leaders program, state ambassador leaders program. But for folks who don't have sort of the opportunity to do the higher level stuff, I'll work with them as well, just to make sure that they are aware of the opportunities that they do have, and that they can do them and still be appreciated and be a part of the program. Because also it can sort of come out of nowhere. People who might be super involved in 2021 might not have the opportunities in 2022. And you might not have done any state level work or anything with us for 3 years. And then all of a sudden a big state bill pops up, and then you have a million opportunities to do stuff. So not only are we letting you know about all the opportunities and stuff already, but when we already have you in the system, when things pop up, then we can reach out to you immediately. So it'll be very much a give and take. We're not just going to give you a list of stuff, tell you to do it, and we're not going to also tell you nothing and leave you guessing and hoping as to what actually has to happen.
Hey, Ben, I've got a question, Leanne.
Sure.
if I was already selected and I was one of them last year, do I need to reapply
For
for the
For-
ambassador?
no, so you and Michael have already applied for the State Ambassador Leaders Program. You
Okay.
both are already in the system.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Can I just also, I want to echo what Kyle said about the Kidney Action Summit. Hi, I'm Elizabeth, and last year was my first Kidney Action Summit. And even though we aren't all physically together, it is a really fun and inspiring day. And that really is because of all the people that are involved, and that includes you and your stories. So I really encourage you to apply and be a part of it because you're going to learn so much. Your story is unique. It's inspiring and it needs to be heard. And that's why you're here. And the social media posts that were going around and people tweeting and retweeting and liking tweets and the connections we made all across the country, it was really unbelievable. And as an ambassador that's just approaching now my year anniversary of being an ambassador, I really felt like we were making a difference and I learned a ton. So I highly recommend and really encourage all of you to take the time and don't be nervous about telling your stories. Just practice beforehand. You'll do great. And again, people just really should hear your stories. So I just wanted to add that.
Thanks. And I didn't recognize you with the last name there. I was like, oh, I've never seen this Elizabeth before.
I know I've 2 different last names. Long
Yeah.
story.
Want to also let everyone know, so the prize we're giving to everyone for the State Ambassador Leaders Program is a super soft blanket. I don't have mine here, but I sent out the first wave of them last year, but then we haven't gone back into the office since. But for folks who are included, once we're allowed to get back to the office, I'll do my next round of mailing those out. So it looks like we probably won't, as of now, we're not going back to the office till April. For those of you who didn't see the Facebook post, I had COVID, may possibly still have it. So all the symptoms and stuff are gone and I'm fine, but I was vaccinated and had the booster shot and I got it. It was a mild case, but so it's definitely still going around. So we don't want the entire staff of AKF to all get COVID at the same time. So as soon as we're allowed to go back, I'll do another big mail drop off. But the one benefit of us not being in the office is I've gotten to know my local post office staff pretty well because people don't really go to the post office anymore. So I've been seeing them sort of with some frequency. So anyone else have any other questions about State Ambassador Leaders or Kidney Action Summit?
This Francis, this is an election year for most states.
Yeah.
And I was really thinking about the governor's race. So I know we're nonpartisan, but we can do educational sessions if our governors, wannabe governors are having some kind of town hall meeting. And
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't know how AKF would be involved in that, or like in my state of South Carolina, which we don't have anything. They're fighting, they're doing abortions now, everything against abortion. So I don't know that we have any local state level legislation, but to build up, I guess, information, education with the elected officials that go to Washington, but also the ones that stay here that do the state stuff. I
Sure.
think it's also important. Yeah.
Yeah. So for folks who are newer here, just to make sure everyone knows that AKF is nonpartisan. You know, we work with Republicans and Democrats, and it's also important to note we've never asked any ambassadors how they vote or what political parties they affiliate with, because both parties can have a positive effect on the kidney community, and both parties support kidney legislation. An issue we have is that, unfortunately, kidney issues are not necessarily, front page of the newspaper type of issues. So a lot of the work that we do is around educating the elected officials, and it's a lot of that grassroots work, trying to get folks on our side. So Francis, to answer your question, we can provide you with state level information. We do have a state leave behind for each state that talks about the current kidney disease numbers in the state and the number of folks that we've helped. But in the past, we haven't done anything with anyone who isn't in office. I'm talking off the top of my head. This is not necessarily an official AKF position, but my assumption is we're working with people in office. If somebody different comes in office after them, then we will work with them as well. But we don't want to have anyone think that we are working with somebody who's trying to knock them out of office. Because if your current governor, hypothetically, is going for another term, and then they see that AKF is getting behind their opponent, and then the opponent loses, we don't want to have an enemy in the governor's mansion. But by all means, we can provide ambassadors with informational material that they can provide to their local elected officials. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, I will say in addition that I found it very helpful in my different social organizations.
Your video is breaking up. I can't really hear you.
When we have webinars now, to make sure that we have kidney disease as one of them, as often as I can.
Yeah, so sorry, Francis, you're breaking up again, but I think I got what you were.
Get rid of it for my social organizations.
Yeah, so when it comes to social organizations, we're more than happy to provide material. If the opportunity arises, I'm more than happy to speak and present. There's lots of kidney-based support groups that we're involved with, but if someone is giving a talk or involved with their local Kiwanis club or something, and they're looking for guest speakers or something, we're more than happy to at least provide you with materials. And so I see here in the chat, Jim says that the mayor of his city is running for U.S. Senate. That one thing we usually ask at the beginning of the year is we do send out an email saying, if you have any connections with your elected officials, please let us know. Or if you know that your elected officials have a connection to kidney disease, to please let us know. Because also somewhere higher up in the chat, I think might have been Kat Velkoff who said, if you don't have the state legislation, doesn't mean you can't work with your local elected officials to have them introduce something. The only issue is that we have to find elected officials who are willing to work on the state level legislation. And usually the way it works is the state level elected officials, since they have partial year sessions, they will only introduce just a handful of bills, because they don't want to introduce bills and have them not go forward, because then that looks bad. So they want to work on legislation that they think has a chance to at least progress somewhat. But finding somebody who has that personal connection, or donated kidneys, something like that, it certainly helps. So if you all come across an elected official in a local newspaper or something, or one of our ambassadors goes to church with a state senator in Georgia, please let us know, and we'd be happy to sort of take things from there.
Can I give you a little bit of advice about reaching out to your senators and your legislators?
Sure.
Legislators. We have had a lot of luck. I'm in Louisville, Kentucky, with simply just persistently calling their offices. And you never know when you're going to make a connection with somebody that works in that office. And I've actually had luck with that. I called Senator Rand Paul's office down in Bowling Green, and I couldn't get through to him at that point, but it turned out that somebody in the office, kidney disease hit home with them. So that person obviously, you know, was appreciative that I was out there raising awareness, and it just kind of helped. It's the more you open your mouth, you get somebody on staff at one of the senator's offices. You never know. It ended up helping me because I have a contact now at Senator Rand Paul's office. So you just don't be afraid, reach out.
Absolutely. Anyone else have any questions about Kidney Action Summit or state ambassador leaders? Yeah, well, thanks everyone for joining so far. Look forward to having you next month.